Alright, bro, so let's say you pick the A inspection. So acuérdate, toca la A inspection, they're gonna tell you, you're gonna explain the front of the truck, main engine compartments, steering components, and the front axle. So, that's kind of probably the description for the A card. So you're gonna point at the clearance lights. You're gonna say my clearance lights are properly mounted and secure, not cracked or broken. They're clean, the amber in color, and all the lights are working properly. So then we're gonna check on the windshield. My windshield is properly mounted and secure, and it's not cracked or broken. It's clean. There's no debris or any illegal stickers obstructing the driver's view. And then we're gonna check on the wiper blades. Wiper blades are properly mounted and secure. You see they're not missing, and they're not dry rotted or worn out, and they are in good working conditions. And then we're gonna check on the wiper arms. Wiper arms properly mounted and secure, not cracked, broken, or bent, and they're not damaged. So you break everything apart. Remember those wiper blades and then the wiper arms. Okay. So then we're gonna come down to the hood mirror bracket. Now see, this is my hood mirror bracket. It's properly mounted and secure. There's no nuts or any bolts missing, and it's not cracked, broken, or bent. Checking on my convex mirror. My convex mirror is properly mounted and secure, and it's not cracked or broken. It's clean, and it's also properly adjusted to the driver's preference. Okay, so now we're gonna check on the headlight. My headlight is properly mounted and secure. It's not cracked or broken. It's clean, and it's in the properly colors, which is clear and amber. I see we have 4 functions on the headlight. We have high beams, low beams, turn signals, and 4-way emergency lights. I see my headlight is not condensated, doesn't have fog or any water inside, and it's working properly too. Okay. Now checking on that license plate. License plate is properly mounted and secure. See, there's no nuts or bolts missing, and it's clean. It's visible. It's up to date. It's not expired. So now we're gonna check underneath the tractor. We're gonna look for leaks. We shouldn't have any leaks like engine oil, power steering fluid, or any coolant. And there's no cables, hoses hanging or dragging on the floor. Basically, it's clean, and it's also clean and clear. So now we're gonna make sure, we're gonna stand up. We're gonna make sure the truck's straight. It shouldn't be leaning to any side. Which it can indicate suspension problems, or one of the front tires can be flat. Or you might need some air. It's level. It's not tilted to one side or the other. So now from there we're gonna open the hood. Come on, little hood in there. Come here. Everything is a little latch inside of the cab. Get under the steering wheel.
Okay.
Pull this out. Porque después de you could be looking at the latches outside. Alright, so now you pull it from the middle. And then you're gonna start on the right side of the engine. Put it on the right side. You only explain the unique parts, the parts that you don't have on the left. So we're gonna check on our AC compressor unit, make sure it's properly mounted and secure. You see there's no nuts or any bolts missing, and it's not cracked, broken, or damaged. There's no freon leaks, and it's belt driven. So we said like 5 or 6 descriptions. See, okay, this is my alternator. Alternator is properly mounted and secure. You see there's no nuts or any bolts missing, and it's not cracked, broken, or damaged. All the electrical wires, connecting to it are properly mounted and secure, and there's no crack in the insulation, there's no burning marks, and there's no exposed wires. So my alternator is also belt driven. Right underneath you have the water pump. Water pump is properly mounted and secure. You see there's no nuts or any bolts missing, and it's not cracked, broken, or bent. There's no visible coolant leaks, and this is also belt driven. So now we're gonna check on our belt conditions. Let's see, all the belts, they shouldn't have no more than 3/4 of an inch of free play or suckness. That's it, and they're not cracked, frayed, or excessive, wear. Checking on the radiator. Radiator is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no visible coolant leaks. Checking on the radiator hoses, upper and the lower radiator hose. Ahí está abajo, that's con radiator always have 2 hoses. Upper and lower radiator hoses properly mounted and secure by metal clamps. You see, we're gonna look this is rubber, so you said the ABC. There's no abrasions, bulges, cuts. It's not pinched or frayed, and there's no visible coolant leaks. Checking on the power steering reservoir, make sure it's properly mounted and secure. No nuts or bolts missing, and it's not cracked or broken. No visible coolant leaks, and my coolant is also filled to the properly, leveled.
Is this a power steering reservoir or
coolant reservoir? Oh. Did I say power steering?
Yeah.
Oh, this is my coolant reservoir, properly mounted and secure. There's no nuts or bolts missing. That's it, not cracked or broken. No visible coolant leaks. That's it, and the coolant is filled to the properly, level. That's it, the cap is not missing. It's not cracked or leaking. That's it, and it's it's hand tight. Lo mismo, you're gonna take a general overview on the coolant reservoir hoses. On the coolant reservoir hoses, lo mismo, properly mounted and secured by metal clamps, and they are the same material as the other ones. So lo mismo, no abrasions, bulges, cuts. They're not frayed or pinch, and there's no visible coolant leaks. So you always mention the same descriptions on the materials.
Mm-hmm.
The metal, plastics, and rubber. And this is lo mismo.
Okay.
You have to be you have to be repetitive and consistent. Look at it in the back. You see the power steering reservoir is properly mounted and secure, not cracked or broken. No visible oil leaks, and my oil is filled to the properly level. Even if you don't see it, you have to say it. You see the cap is not missing, not cracked or leaking. It's also hand tight. Checking on the power steering hoses. All the power steering hoses are properly mounted and secure. Same thing by metal clamps, and there's no abrasions, bulges, cuts. They're not pinched or frayed, and there's no visible oil leaks. Descriptions on the hose are gonna be the same. The only thing they have to specify is what kind of leakage it has. Like it can be oil, coolant, or audible air leaks. Right? Follow the hose. It goes through the frame, and it leads right there. Ahí donde pega va a ser el power steering pump. Así, power steering pump properly mounted and secure. Así, there's no nuts or any bolts missing. It's metal, so it's not cracked or broken. It deals with oil, so there's no visible oil leaks. And one thing that's really important, it's gear driven. You shouldn't forget it. You have to say it's gear driven. This little red square on top of it, that's gonna be my air compressor, properly mounted and secure. See, there's no nuts or bolts missing. Same thing, metal, not cracked or broken. Deals with air, no audible leaks. It's also gear driven. There's no belts on this side. So now this is the engine oil, fill cap. It's not missing, not cracked or leaking. Let's see this hand tight. Let's see, this is where we at. Engine oil, when the truck needs some. Right here. This is the engine oil dipstick. On the dipstick, this is where I check my oil level. To check it, I have to pull it out, wipe it off, reinsert it back in. The engine oil must be, above the refilling mark. The stick is not cracked or damaged, and it's securely closed. It's properly closed. So now taking a general overview on the air hoses. Let's see, all the air hoses properly mounted and secured to the air fittings. And this is another kind of material, so it's kind of plastic. So you're gonna say there's no cracks, cuts, it's not frayed, it's not pinched, and there's no audible leaks on these hoses. This is my windshield washer fluid reservoir. It's properly mounted and secure, not cracked or broken. It's not leaking. It's filled to the proper level. See the cap? It's not missing. It's not cracked or leaking, and it's properly closed. Como ahí está crack, right? Pero en esta, they don't even trip about it porque esta no es tan importante. Es que esta washful no tiene presión ni nada. So
okay.
It's all fine. It's all good. And then we're gonna move on to the steering components. My steering components. So you're gonna start with the steering shaft. Steering shaft is not cracked, bent, or broken, and it shouldn't have no more than 10 degrees of free play. My universal joints properly mounted and secure. There's no nuts or bolts missing. It's not cracked or broken, and it's properly greased. It's properly lubricated. Power steering gearbox. It's properly mounted and secure. There's no nuts or bolts missing. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged, and there's no visible oil leaks. Has oil from the reservoir as well. Okay, you're gonna follow the connectivity to the pitman arm. Pitman arm, properly mounted and secure. You see, we're not missing the castle nut or the cotter pin, and it's not cracked, bent, or broken. Then this one right here is gonna be the drag link. Drag link is properly mounted and secure. There's no nuts or bolts missing, and it's not cracked, broken, or damaged. On this one, we cannot say bent because it's bent, but it's how it is. You see what I'm saying? Y atrás, Aquí atrás, en otra esta barrita redonda, ¿sí lo ves?
Sí.
This is the tie rod.
Okay.
So I see my tie rod is securely mounted in both ends. There's no nuts or any bolts missing, and it's not cracked, bent, or broken. Skipping this one, this is the control arms, which is the upper and the lower. You have two control arms properly mounted and secure, with castle nuts and cotter pins, and they're not cracked, broken, or damaged. Now moving on to the suspension parts, checking on the frame. My frame is not cracked, bent, or broken. There's no illegal welds, and there's no drilling holes. Right, no illegal welding repairs. Okay, right here, you have the spring mounts or spring hangers, properly mounted and secure, no nuts or any bolts missing, and not cracked, broken, or bent. Checking right here on the leaf springs. My leaf springs are properly mounted and secure. They're not missing or shifted. There's no illegal welds, and they're not cracked or broken as well. Right here you have the U-bolts. The U-bolts properly mounted and secure, not cracked, broken, or damaged. And we must have 2 nuts for each U-bolt. Checking on the shock absorbers. Shock absorbers properly mounted and secure in both ends, top and bottom. I see no nuts or any bolts missing, and it's not cracked, broken, or bent, and there's no hydraulic oil leaks. Checking on this big metal thing is the front steering axle. I see my front steering axle is not cracked, broken, or bent. There's no illegal welds. Moving on to the air brake parts, you're gonna check on the air brake hose, properly mounted and secure, and you're gonna check for abrasions, bulges, cuts, it's not pinch or frayed, and no audible leaks. Checking on the brake chamber, make sure it's properly mounted and secure. There's no nuts missing, there's no cracks, dents, or any holes, no audible leaks, and it's also working properly. Checking on the push rod and the slack adjuster, they are both properly mounted and secure. See, we're not missing the locking pins and or the bolts and nuts. I see when the brakes are released, you shouldn't have no more than 1 inch of free play when you pull by hand. Otherwise, brakes needs adjustments. Did I say that they're not cracked, bent, or broken? Right? Did I say that right? I'm so used to it que ya ni me acuerdo si lo dije. Aquí, the brake pads properly mounted and secure. That's not cracked or broken. They're clean. No grease, debris, or any oil. That it can cause brake failure, and the minimum is 1/4 thickness. Okay. Brake drums properly mounted and secure. No cracks, dents, or holes. There's no illegal welds, and there's also no rust, indicating that it's been overheated already. And then my inner rim is not cracked, broken, or bent, and there's no illegal welding repairs on the inner rim. My inner tire sidewall, on the inner tire sidewall, there is no abrasions, bulges, cuts. There's no curb hits or curb rashes, and there's no fabric showing on the sidewall. My tire surface, it's evenly worn out. There's no deep cuts, chunks missing, or anything else. There's no thread separations. Minimum is 432 seconds of an inch of thread depth. That's it. Another thing that's really important on the front steering tires, we're not allowed to use retread or recaps. Only virgin original radio tires. Tire sidewall, same things, same descriptions. No abrasions, bulges, cuts, no curve hits or curve rashes, no fabric showing. It's flash against the rim, no audible air leaks. My rim is not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no illegal welds. My air valve stem properly mounted and secure. It's not touching against the rim. It's not cracked. There's no audible leaks. The pressure needs to be at least at 100 psi of inflation. We can check that with the air gauge. Checking on the lug nuts. You see all the lug nuts are properly mounted and secure. There's none of them missing. They're not cracked or broken, and there's no rust or any shiny metal indicating looseness. This is my wheel hub and axle seal. Make sure it's properly mounted and secure. There is no bolts missing, and it's not cracked or broken. There's no visible oil leaks coming from the seal, and the oil needs to be filled to the properly leveled. So now from there, you go straight to the coupling. That was the end of the egg portion. Then you go to the coupling. Once you finish with the coupling, you go inside the cab. Okay, and that'll complete the A inspection.